welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today we're talking the top 10 scary things found in the desert part 2. It's getting hot in here, are you ready?
I'm ready.
This is Jocelyn! We're very excited, she's back with me once again for the Renegade Master, and she is from our brand new channel, Top 10 Beyond the Screen.
I was literally just about to say that.
Well, I've jumped on it.
I'm joining you guys today on part 2 because part 1 was so good, I just had to invite myself to this one.
Yes.
So, as she said, I am Jocelyn, the host from the new channel, Top 10 Beyond the Screen. Make sure you guys come visit me on my channel and subscribe. I talk everything entertainment, movies, TV shows, Hollywood, Netflix, everyone's favorites. So
I'm really excited. I love that kind of stuff. I love Frozen. I definitely love Netflix. So I am straight on over there. So guys, do leave us a comment in the comment section down below letting us know that you've checked out Top 10 Beyond the Screen, and also leave us a welcome message for Jocelyn. For now, let's get into the scary.
Yeah, let's get into the scary stuff. At number 10 we have graveyards. Graveyards are common things, but what isn't common is a desert graveyard for sea mammals. I'm not even sure how that makes sense, so let me explain. Another mystery of the desert came about when a surprising burial site was found in the sands. In the Atacama Desert in Chile, there's a hill, Cerro Bolina, which also means Whale Hill. It's 40 meters above sea level, and during some roadwork in 2010 was found to contain fossils of 40 whales, along with a collection of other marine mammals, dolphins, seals, and other kinds of swordfish. What a day at work that would be. Initially it seemed like an amazing case of fossilization, but it just didn't add up. How could dozens of animals of various species have died all at once, and more importantly had been preserved? The biggest explanation is that the numerous mammals and fish were deposited over time. The hill happened to be a place where the bodies were washed up, and nature preserved them for 6 to 19 million years. True or not, it definitely isn't something one wants to stumble upon while hiking through the hills.
Coming in at number 9, we have an alien skeleton. Get a load of this freaky find. What is it? An alien-looking skeleton was found buried in a leather pouch in the Atacama Desert in Chile in 2003. Oh, and not just any part of the Atacama Desert, it was in an abandoned town behind a church, just to make things creepier. The strange looking skeleton was just 6 inches in length, so I don't know, about like this big? Tiny alien, tiny little alien. Also, the carcass had just 10 ribs, where humans have 12, so this coupled with the weird look of the remains, it led people to believe that the Chilean discovery was legit an alien. Have a closer look. Like, I'm no conspiracist, but I have to say that this is weird. Too weird. However, in 2012, after an intense study on the remains, medics found that the skeleton was that of a female baby girl suffering with a number of gene mutations. It is likely that the girl had dwarfism or something of the like.
Coming in at number 8 we have fairy circles. That might make you think of something cute and whimsical. Well, it's quite the opposite of that. It's actually more about a lack of life than anything charming. In the Namib Desert and in Australia, there are odd circles in the middle of the desert that are evenly spaced out and exactly concentric. It looks like something a conspiracy theorist would claim there was evidence that a UFO landed there. More reasonable theories, such as fire or winds being the reason, were ruled out by the fact that these bare patches could last decades, some remaining free of plant life for as long as 75 years. It wasn't until 2017 that any type of viable explanations was put forward. The leading explanation was termite colonies, and that plant root systems do this as a means of distributing water. Neither of these fully explain why the circles remain barren for so long with no visible trace of colonies, but I guess this makes more sense than the circles being made by literal fairies. Either way, I'm not sure how I feel about this one being unexplained. It just seems a little too creepy.
Getting very intense at number 7, we have war jets. 2003 was a tense time in Iraq. The United States and friends had just joined forces to launch Bush's war on terror. Now this included the Iraq War. The justification for the shock and awe bombing campaign was that the Iraqi government were hiding weapons of mass destruction. While the weapons were never found, if there were any, a fleet of hidden warplanes were found in the desert west of Baghdad. The Iraqi Air Force stayed out of it when the country was being attacked, presumably because they thought that they were no match for the US military, and they were probably right. Instead of having a lot of their planes destroyed, they buried them. Now some 30 odd Cold War era Inceptors and brand new attack jets were found when a small part of a plane was seen poking out of the sand. Can you imagine unearthing them? How terrifying. The findings made some people even more convinced that the country were hiding weapons after all, but the US have never found them. If they are ever dug up from the sand, well, that would be the scariest desert find of them all. time may well tell.
Number 6 brings us to a more disturbing one. One desert brings us the emptied body of Ryle Singleton. Not just the body, the emptied body. I'm not sure how my stomach will handle this one. In 2013, a 24-year-old male model from Georgia was found dead by hikers in California's Mojave Desert 2.5 months after he disappeared. His eyes, lungs, liver, kidneys, and heart had been removed. When I say empty, I mean empty. No evidence of a perpetrator was ever found, or even any leads as of 2016. Police felt that the removed organs did not indicate he had been murdered by an organ-obsessed killer. They thought the missing organs could be blamed on scavenging animals, but it just is too odd in this case because the body was still intact. It's almost like the organs were removed professionally. Whether it was a homicide or a natural cause of death, no reason was ever found for why he died or where he did. The investigation is still going.
Oh my god, Jocelyn, that is horrendous. I don't like the sound of that at all. I am officially freaked out. On a bit of a lighter note, at number 5, we have ancient weed. Whoa. So we knew that the Gobi Desert in northwest China was blazing hot, but the whole place got blazier. In 2008, basically a huge stash of ancient marijuana was found buried in a tomb. Busting the oldest weed stash, archaeologists found 2 pounds of cannabis plants that were thought to have been preserved underground for 2.7 millennia. The stash was buried next to the body of a 35-year-old Caucasian man who likely used the drug for its medicinal benefits. The question on everyone's lips is, can you still get high from it? Well, it seems that the plant still did have its resinous hairs intact. These are the things that contain the psychoactive compounds, so probably you could get high from it. Although, who knows, it's so old, who knows what that high would be like, honestly. I bet that some people would love to venture on that trip, but for me, I think I'd really rather not. Taking the number 4 spot is dinosaur tracks. I know what you're thinking, you probably don't believe me and you probably think I'm a little bit crazy. And some of my friends might agree with you, but I'm telling you that I'm not. In a desert in Utah, a hiker discovered a collection of footprints left behind 125 million years ago by a number of different dinosaurs. In 2014, volunteers spent hours sweeping, scraping, and brushing the tracks. This isn't just a small rock with some prints on it. Over 200 tracks were uncovered, and in one case there was 17 consecutive prints from the same animal. Paleontologist Rebecca Foster said, "It helps fill in these gaps about these animals that we don't know much about. We know they were here, we just don't find their bones." What you can see in the images of these tracks is a crocodile dragging its tail while apparently leaving a slash in the hardened mud. You can also see that a 3-toed meat eater walked there too. Some could see this as a really cool thing, some could see it as a little bit scary. Finding tracks of dinosaurs just reminds me that they were in fact real and that they once walked this earth too. Who knows what else is out there? I feel like 3-toed meat eater is an excellent band name, so if anyone's watching and you need a band name, have it on us. Coming in at number 3, we have the claw. Paranormal researchers found what looked like a giant alien claw in the Peruvian desert in January 2017. The claw was found in a cave near the ancient city of Cusco, and it is so big that if it belonged to a human, they would have to be 9 foot tall. Now, skeptics are calling it a fake, which, to be fair, given the source and the lack of DNA evidence to back it up, I'm thinking actually, maybe that isn't a bad shout. Still though, I just really like saying the claw. The claw! Alright guys, here we are at spot number 2 with the Lost Student film set. I know I was a little confused at first too. In 1923, dunes near the Santa Barbara served as the site of a legendary student film called The 10 Commandments. 90 years later, the remains of the massive movie set are being excavated. Roughly 1,500 workmen spent 6 weeks building the huge Egyptian city set. It included a 35-foot tall statue, a 110-foot gate, and 21 sphinx, each weighing 5 tons. Why was it that after production was over, did the director not truck the set back to LA or simply leave it standing? Peter Bronson is a filmmaker who is on the hunt to figure it out. He says, "I think there were 2 things going on here. Hauling away all that statuary would have been very expensive, so I think he pulled a fast one and buried it. Also, if he left it standing, the very next day someone would be there filming a quick one on his set and they would be on the streets with it within a few weeks." An interesting theory for sure. Bronson has been seeking the vanished set since 1982. Some objects have already been excavated and are already on display while the rest is still buried. It'd be interesting to see what else was left behind. I can't believe that. They spend so much on a set and then they're just like, bury it, no one else can use it. That makes me feel not okay about film. Alright, finally coming in at number 1 of our scariest things found in the desert, we have a shipwreck. A shipwreck. Wait, what? A shipwreck in the desert. What, where, how, why? Questions. Well guys, I introduced to you Namibia's Skeleton Coast. Now the Skeleton Coast is very inhospitable. It's something a bit like the end of the earth. The desert land beside the ocean is home to an estimated 500 shipwrecks, with rumours that the land is cursed. It seems that the Bushmen of Namibia refer to the area as the land God made in anger, whereas the Portuguese used to call it the gates of hell. Either way, sounds lovely. Basically, if your ship was run aground in this area, you would likely die. Drinking this seawater will send you mad, and there is almost no precipitation in the desert by the water. In 2016, the wreck of a 500-year-old ship was found in the desert with over $10 million worth of gold coins on board. The wreckage of the Bom Jesus set sail from Lisbon in 1533 and was headed for India when it became beached in the Namibian hellhole. It wasn't just the gold of interest to archaeologists either. There were skeletal remains of the crew found. To me, a shipwreck in the desert is so crazy I can't get my head around it, and it's really, really, really scary. So that was the top 10 scariest things found in the desert part 2. How did you feel about this?
I feel scared.
I feel scared too. Like maybe I don't want to go to the desert.
I think I'm gonna stay away from that for a while.
I think so. It's very opposite the desert outside our window today in Toronto. It is blowing a gale. So guys, before we go, I'm just gonna read some comments from part 1. You guys loved it so much, so why don't we read out a few?
Awesome.
Shira Stacy said, I love it when you teach us cool stuff, Rebecca. I love the heat and I hate the cold, so I'd rather go to Death Valley than go to Antarctica. Still think that after watching this video? I don't know.
I do hate the cold though.
I know, oh my god, I'm so fickle.
I'm torn.
Honestly, I'm fickle. Mishmash said, congratulations on 5 million subs. I've been watching since you were only at 15k. Oh my god, you are OG. Shout out to you. Tatia Folus Sofara said, how about scary South Pacific urban legends? Do you know what? I think that'd be great, and I love a good seafaring list. Ooh.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Alright, let's check out some comments from my channel. Top 10 be on the screen.
Yes.
Michael Luton says, this channel is a great channel and has an awesome addition to the most amazing family. It really doesn't hurt that the host has a great personality, entertaining, and very easy on the eyes.
Oh.
This channel will be going far. Thanks, and keep up all the awesome work. Wow. Thank you, Michael. That was incredibly sweet. It's so good to hear positive feedback from you guys.
Michael, what a babe. Thank you, Michael, and thank you to everyone who has already head on over to most amazing top 10 beyond the screen. Why not? You're part of the most amazing family. I think it's time that we get out of here and let you go enjoy your day, but why don't you go enjoy it by once again subscribing to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. If you like this video, do make sure you leave a thumbs up on it, share it with a friend, and stay subscribed for more most amazing videos. You'll be seeing Jocelyn soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Bye!